There is a quiet bias in the human mind that no one admits to. Before you speak, before you shake a hand, before you show value, you are already being placed into a category, not by cruelty, by shortcut. Walk into a room and watch how quickly the room decides what you are, not your resume, not your character, your signal, your posture, your clarity, your presence. The world runs on fast judgments because it is lazy. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Most people are moved by appearances, and most of the world is made of those people. If you ignore that, you do not become noble. You become invisible. You have felt it. You enter a space and the energy shifts. Eyes slide past you like you are background. Then a louder, less capable person gets attention because they look like they belong. This is not about mocking poverty. Money can be temporary, but the signal of diminishedness creates a predictable reaction. People hesitate less. They negotiate harder. They assume you are optional. Think of poverty as a cent, not a bank balance. Not because it is shameful. Because humans read cues and make decisions. If your cues say low certainty, the room will treat you as low certainty. Here is the first correction. Stop thinking the world will dig for your hidden value. It will not. Most people will never do the extra work to discover you. They will go with whatever looks easiest to trust. Imagine your appearance like the cover of a book. Your interior can be brilliant, but the cover determines who even opens it. That is not vanity. That is access. Now picture two doors. One has a clean brass handle and solid hinges. The other looks loose and neglected. Which door do people push confidently, and which door do they test cautiously? Your signal works the same way. When you show up unprepared, slumped, rushed, apologetic, you save the room effort. You hand them a conclusion before they have to think. And people love conclusions that cost them nothing. There is a known bias in psychology. One visible negative cue can spill over into everything else. If you look unmanaged, people assume you are unmanaged in other areas too. Fair or unfair, that is how the shortcut works. Now flip it. Discipline is visible, cleanliness is visible, calm is visible. If you can govern your presentation, people assume you can govern outcomes. They trust you faster. Picture a bank, a client meeting, a job interview, a negotiation table. Two people want the same opportunity. One arrives scattered, the other arrives composed. The opportunity follows composure. This is why money often moves toward people who look like they do not need it. Not because they are better humans, because they look like lower risk. Decision makers protect their own reputation first. When you look like a risk, you get tighter terms. When you look stable, you get better terms. Not because the universe loves you, because humans love safety. So you need a mask, not a fake personality, a deliberate frame. Machiavelli would call it the mask of the prince, the outward signal that keeps your inner work protected while you build. If you are hungry, do not show hunger. If you are anxious, do not show anxiety. If you are early in your journey, do not broadcast insecurity. Neediness makes people bargain with you. Now remove the dramatic words and keep the law. People scan for status in every room, not to be evil. To decide who to follow, who to ignore, who to test, and who to respect. Your posture is a sentence. Your eye contact is a sentence. Your pace is a sentence. Your silence is a sentence. If those sentences say, "I am uncertain," the room will treat you like uncertainty. Here is the simplest upgrade. Stand straight. Move slower. Speak fewer words. Let your presence land before your explanation begins. Calm creates gravity. Do not confuse loudness with authority. The loudest person often signals nervousness. Authority is the ability to hold space without filling it. Now picture a room with a single candle. Everyone watches the flame because it is stable. If the flame flickers wildly, everyone feels tension. Your nervous system is that flame. The poor look is rarely about luxury brands. It is about neglect. Wrinkles, stains, cracked details, sloppy fit, chaotic grooming. These cues whisper disorder before you say a word. A cheap shirt that is crisp and clean beats an expensive item that looks tired. A simple outfit that fits beats a flashy one that looks careless. Order is what the room reads. Look at your hands, shoes, collar, hairline, and fabric. These are small signals, but the brain stacks them. The goal is not to impress. The goal is to remove reasons to doubt you. Now bring this into your digital life. Your profile photo, your bio, your captions, your comments, your availability. The internet is a room too, and your signal speaks first there as well. Oversharing is a signal of hunger. Posting every emotion is a signal of instability. Complaining publicly is a signal of low leverage. Mystery is not a trick. It is a boundary. Scarcity creates value, not artificial scarcity. Real scarcity created by purpose. If you are always online, always replying, always explaining, you signal you have nothing better to protect. Now picture a sealed letter. A wax seal does not argue, it states. That is how boundaries should feel: quiet, clean, final. People respect what feels self-contained. The fastest way to look diminished is to overtalk. Explaining your pain, explaining your plans, explaining your insecurity, you think it is honesty. To strangers, it reads as unmanaged. Silence is not coldness. Silence is control. When you do not rush to fill gaps, people project competence onto you. They assume you are thinking. They assume you know something. Now picture two people at a table. One keeps talking to prove value. The other listens, asks one sharp question, then stops. The room watches the second person without realizing why. This is not about becoming fake. It is about choosing what you reveal and when. The world does not reward full exposure. The world rewards timing. If you cannot afford expensive upgrades, do not panic. You can still remove the poverty signals with discipline. Clean, pressed, maintained, intentional. These cost more attention than money. Fix what is broken when you can. If you cannot, hide the brokenness until you can. Broken details teach your subconscious a lesson you do not want to learn, that you tolerate disorder. Now look at your environment, your desk, your room, your car, your background and calls. These are part of your signal. You do not need luxury, you need control. And now the hardest layer. The company you keep is also your signal. People judge you by the circle you are seen with, not because they are wise, because they are shortcut machines. You do not have to abandon old friends, but you must be strategic about context. When you are building alliances, be seen with builders. When you are entering serious rooms, bring serious energy. Machiavelli warned that leaders are judged by the quality of the people around them. The modern version is the same. Your circle frames you before you speak. So audit your ecosystem: clothes, grooming, posture, pace, words, online presence, companions. This is not obsession, this is alignment. Now comes the paradox. When you clean up your signals, your opportunities change. Not because you became a different soul, because people gave you access sooner. Access creates options. Options create leverage. Leverage creates money. This is why the outer frame matters, not as a costume, as a doorway. And something else happens when you do this. Your inner state follows your outer discipline. You feel sharper, you negotiate cleaner, you walk away faster, you stop apologizing for existing. That is the real win. Not looking rich, looking governed. Governed people are treated like they can handle responsibility. So decide what you want the room to assume before you open your mouth. Decide what you want your signal to say. Then make your body match that message. Because the world will judge you anyway. You can either let that judgment be random or you can shape it with intention. And if this clicked, remember the core law. Your interior is the product, but your exterior is the packaging. Respect the product enough to package it well.